Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be listening to the recently released Panda Bear album, Sinister Grift. Now, if you are unaware, Panda Bear is the moniker for Noah Lennox, one of the founding members of Animal Collective, the wildly inventive and popular indie band from the 2000s. And Panda Bear sees him go in a much more kind of poppy, psychedelic, and I would say Beach Boys inspired sound from what I gathered, especially with his last LP, Reset with Sonic Boom. An LP I listened to and did enjoy quite a bit. However, I don't find myself going back to it. The key song on that one, though, is, I would say, the track Go On. So seeing as this is the first Panda Bear album since that 2022 record, as well as his first solo record since 2019, I'm very interested to see what direction he is taking here. 44 minutes, 44 seconds, the 4444, with 10 songs. So let's get into it with the first track, Praise. And hit and play. There we are. Oh. Like that nice reverb to open it up. Those, like I said, that Beach Boys influence coming in strong in those vocals. Really feeling some classic Pet sounds. Very dreamy and poppy. Very sweet, dreamy, kind of psychedelic journey this is so far already, right off the bat. Like I said, channeling that Beach Boys, very different from the album covers sort of atmosphere, but oh, I like this kind of trippy, is that a guitar effect there? I like that gentle tambourine kind of coming in. I like the punchiness of the kind of guitars and drums on this one. Even to some extent, maybe I'm off here, but to some extent, a Fleet Foxes sort of influence coming in on the mix here. Kind of reminded me of their first LP. Ooh, I like these warm brassy horns. All right. I like Praise. It sets the stage quite nicely. It's sweet. You know, that classic Panda Bear, Beach Boys inspired sound. Nothing too grand, but I do like the slow building kind of element of that one. You know, each instrument kind of sliding into the mix piece by piece. Here's Anywhere But Here. A bit of a heavy reverb, almost dub-like sound to it. It's quite sluggish.
Sentado na varanda, olhando para o céu, conta as estrelas.
What are we in Spanish here?
Guardadas acima, mas focado no além.
Ooh.
É apenas uma distração.
A sweet
Na verdade,
sweet sentiment here of the English translation. Sitting on the porch looking at the skies, count the stars saved above. But focused on beyond, it's just a distraction because actually you just need comfort for your heart. What a sweet little sentiment here. Sung quite beautifully. by our Spanish vocalist here, Naja Lennox. Seems like quite a sad sense of lyrics here. Maybe grieving. Love the overdubbing of his vocals. Sounds like a nice full band. Oh, and I love that dialing back, that drop.
E na próxima.
It's Portuguese, by the way. Need to quickly correct, not Spanish, Portuguese. I like the slow, kind of sluggishness of this mix. The sweet, kind of mellow out. A real melancholy deep within. Yeah, I like that one as well. It was quite sweet. Maybe not lyrically. It seems to be dealing with themes of loss or grieving. Panda Bear here, certainly in his feels and a melancholic nature. But I really liked just the atmosphere. He's 50 milligrams. There's a real kind of beach vibe, as expected. And even a bit of a, I would say, reggae influence. Oh, some real funky effects on this mix. I love that. Bum. Kind of like psychedelic reggae dub, pop, kind of 60s appeal all over this thing. It feels like we are in a 60s, early 70s kind of funk here. Not a lot of catchy hooks or choruses on this LP, but a much more tranquil sort of mix. A very hazy mix. I'm loving the percussion on this one too. Nice and steady. Keeps you holding on. Again, a nice mellow mix. Nothing too grand to say about that one. Not too sure what lyrically some of this is about. A little bit more abstract. No catchy sort of hooks or choruses. Like I said, it definitely feels like a much more growing sort of track, one that on repeated listenings might be more rewarding. On a first listen, it's really hard to kind of dissect it too heavily. Here's Ends Meet, which I thought that was most popular. It must be a single. The percussion on this one really cutting through. Perhaps the most clear element of the mix. Oh. Really diving into a spacey atmosphere. Oh. Very like claustrophobic sounding chimey mix. This does feel like the most cohesive and boldest mix so far on the record. Really does have a better structure, I would say, overall of anything we've heard so far. Those distant guitar strings there. A nice harrowing sound to them. Yeah, it definitely felt like the most concrete of all the tracks so far. I will say when it comes to Panda Bear, I'm a fan of some of the work, but I do think some of the work also feels quite meandering and undirectional in a sense, but I do feel like Ends Meet did feel quite cohesive. Here's Just As Well. Oh, and I'm loving this kind of heavy, I want to say reggae influence. It's very summery and beachy and transportive. I really like the guitars on this one too. Nice rough, in-your-face sort of bassy sound. Oh, ooh, I like this alien-like effect. Where we are rising away into a kind of rough, noisy guitar heaven. That whole passage, that instrumental there, gorgeous, just beautiful, sweeping, very enveloping. Let's keep it going. Maybe my favorite track so far, I'll say. I'm just loving the very mellowed out, but also rougher sound to this one. Great track. Maybe my favorite so far. I feel like, last one I was saying that, but that one, I like the roughness of the guitars, the in-your-face nature of that mix, up against the very mellowed out, sort of tropical sort of elements throughout the instrumental. Really good contrast, really, is my main takeaway there. Here's Fairy Lady. Another single, it would seem. Really beautiful, just gorgeous, luscious atmosphere so far. I like those horns there. Distant, but again, a nice dreamy mix. I do like Panda Bear's approach to the kind of Beach Boys-esque tone. Really turning into a modern, sort of futuristic, sort of darker, more futuristic outlook, it would seem. these depressing sort of thoughts circling his mind. Yeah, not too much to say about that one. I mean, it comes and goes. Wasn't my favorite. It's quite hypnotic in nature. I would say most of this LP really does kind of give into a hypnotic, meditative state. But all in all, I wasn't really feeling that one as it went on. Just felt like more of the same. Here is Venom's Inn. I will say, well produced. It's pretty. It's sweet. More of that kind of meditative and mellowed out atmosphere that this record's really gone for. But at this point, as much as I try not to be too overtly negative in these videos, I will say this one really isn't doing it for me. I think the project as a whole really starts to meander and feel, not too fleshed out, or I would even say, justifying its length or purpose, personally. Like, it's nice, but maybe it's just not for me. It's just not clicking. Even though I do like the more depressed nature of these lyrics, the more miserable elements. Maybe this Venom being the depression that's sinking in. The slow, kind of repetitive nature really makes this runtime feel significantly longer, I would say. At this point, the track has run its course. We are almost 4 minutes in. I'm kind of over this one. A very repetitive sort of track and LP. Yeah, that's 5 minutes felt like quite a long track. I feel like it just never kind of reached a potential that was at all interesting. I do feel like, Panda Bear, at this point, has never put anything out that has wowed me to the point of, great measure. I've never found his work to be particularly grand or as epic, especially when taking into account the fact that he is one of the founding members of Animal Collective. But even still, I just feel like at this point, that Beach Boys sound is played out and not done in a way that is that engaging. I feel like it could be done a lot better. But here's Left in the Cold. maybe these last 3 tracks will pick things up. I don't know. Quite a sinking feeling on this one. We are falling to a depth, floating away. Very kind of circular nature of this one, that percussion. I feel like we are kind of spiraling downwards. Again, I'm loving this sinking atmosphere, but you gotta wonder where it's going. Seemingly nowhere. There's not yeah. Not really feeling that one. Again, I feel like maybe in the right mindset this might hit a little bit harder, but this sort of directionless, sort of tranquil atmosphere that is melancholic and hypnotic isn't really doing a whole lot for me. I feel like it doesn't really go into any directions that are unique, interesting, or really an earworm in any way. It kind of just goes into one ear and out the other. Here's Elegy for Noah Lou. The longest track, 6 minutes. Hopefully offers up a bit more than just a repeating, cyclical sort of nature that has, again, a lack of direction. Quite a disturbed sort of open already, though, right off the bat. I'll give it that. This guitar work, too. Maybe the most clear the acoustics have been. Oh, I like this. Oh. Now this is an interesting direction. Kind of a harrowing, haunted piece, really. I feel like we are out in the distant country. Ooh. Even these effects, you know, like this feels already more bold, creative, and suggestive than a lot of what we've heard.
When the season's gone, looking for land to land on.
I'm getting like I would even say some Simon and Garfunkel
When the day
sort of
has broke,
vocal deliveries.
looking for words never spoke.
That kind of haunted folk.
For you,
Definitely my favorite of the batch. This is a more interesting direction, I would say, for Panda Bear. Great sense of atmosphere on it. And a very haunted appeal. Even like a Western influence too. Wow. Yeah, I gotta say, I was quite harsh on this LP before this track, especially the last few songs really not sticking the landing for me. But that one, the longest track here, my complaint with the record so far has been that a lot of these tracks kind of meander and feel like they lack a direction. This one, despite being the longest, I felt like had the most kind of rewarding sort of runtime. It's 6 minutes, 15 seconds, and it's got a great sort of folk western kind of haunted appeal. Kind of reminds me of something that you'd hear in like a True Detective episode, you know, like it's very disturbed and kind of lost in a world that feels very haunted and tainted in a way, and quite a, I would say, western tone too that I really like. Add on that acoustic and his vocal performance, again, feeling far more distinct than anything he's done so far. Nice kind of harrowing, withdrawn, melancholic, depressed sort of vocal delivery. I would love a whole record in this sort of western fashion. Let's go into defense with Cindy Lee, quite a underground legend at this point, especially with their last LP, which is not even on Spotify, Diamond Jubilee, a record that I have yet to check out. But still, Cindy Lee, quite a massive underground legend, I feel like, at this point. But let's hear Defense closing out the record. Oh, right off the bat, already feeling beautiful opening here. Oh, a nice heavy, powerful kind of percussion. Love that distant plucking too. So washed out. Great texture. Oh. That kind of warbly guitar synth there. Oh, where are we going? A bit of a solo here. Great little detour. Quite a gnarly, electrical solo. Oh, that piano too. A nice, high-pitched, shimmery addition. I love this plucking guitar. It comes back in, spins around the mix, gives to this, again, very floaty nature. Beautiful. Love that one. Feel like we were ascending and floating away and really lost that, deep within an ocean or something like that. That sort of texture and hypnotic nature of it all. Gorgeous. Just really beautiful. Great guitar solo, too, in the middle of that mix. I gotta say, Defense closes out the record. Quite strong. Nice and punchy sort of track overall, too, with the percussion being quite hard-hitting in its sound. And I gotta say, the record as a whole, let's talk on it real quick. It's very well mixed. It's very well produced. It sounds pretty luscious and full a lot of the time. I think, dialing back certain instruments and kind of pushing them into the background and washing them out really gives to the much more kind of melancholic, and I would say hypnotic, tranquil nature of the record, which is quite a welcome addition. It's quite beautiful. And there are certain tracks on here that were, I would say, hard-hitting, upbeat, fun, or just overall well-rounded. Ends meet just as well. Elegy for No Allow and Defense were my 4 favorites from this record, and I do feel like they are the standout tracks here. And that's really my only, I guess you could say, complaint at the same time here, is that when it comes to Panda Bear, given their last LP as well, he's an artist that I feel like has some really great tracks within an album that tends to sometimes struggle to find its footing. A lot of this record, to me, is a little bland and doesn't really fully kind of reach its potential, except for a few really well-done tracks that are well-rounded. But Venom's In was easily my least favorite. It was super repetitive, super bland, really lost itself, and even left in the cold, those two back-to-back really felt like a significant low point on the record. 50 milligrams also didn't do much for me, and I would say overall, the tracks in between these much more high, well-rounded tracks just feel like filler. But as for the tracks that do it right, the one that to me stands out the most, and the one that I wish was maybe on a record that was a bit more honed in and focused on its sound, Elegy for Noah Lou. Really just a great, haunted, and beautifully kind of Western-inspired track that, despite being 6 minutes, actually felt like the most fleshed out of the batch here. So a whole record like that, to me, from Panda Bear would be far more interesting and unique of a listen, because the whole Beach Boys vibe that he does, although interesting and kind of cool to see in the modern day, doesn't feel like he ever really does anything too grand or unique or interesting with it that really justifies doing it this deep into the catalog. But all in all, I will say Sinister Grift, definitely not going to be my favorite record of the year, but I had some really fun high points on it that I would say, I'll definitely be coming back to. And is this an improvement over his last record, Reset? It's been a while since I've listened to that one completely front to back. But just on a first listen, there were some high moments on here to me that stood out more so than anything on that last LP. So, Panda Bear, Sinister Grift, a decent record, but nothing too grand or sensational. But that does it for today's video. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along and listening to more albums alongside myself. As always, I want to listen to as many new albums throughout the year as I can, as well as listening to the Pink Floyd discography and the Bjork discography with you guys. If you're interested in unedited reactions, go ahead and check out my Patreon, which is linked down in the description down below, where I do unedited reactions for $5 a month US, as well as some other tiers if you are interested in my content. But, as always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.